بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and I hope that you were well and I hope that you're having a great rest of your Ramadan, because I'm not. Well, interesting things came up, but I'm not here to talk about that right now. By the way, you see what's been going on with like a certain Johnny Tep Mep Pep Dep, yeah, and a certain Amber Word. That's interesting. I mean, let me know if you guys want to talk about that. I don't know if I should veer off topic of my channel, but anyways, I'm back for part 2, and this time I have my trusty dusty dusty notebook, because yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit more professional and just write things down so that I don't make too many mistakes when talking about what I'm really trying to talk about. So I'm gonna skip a lot of what I said, probably ending in the last video, and I'm going to talk directly about what was going on with the jinn leading up to me coming back to Islam. All right, so I'm just gonna be reading basically what I wrote down. So the jinn, starting a year ago or so, started wreaking havoc on my life, all because of a spell I did, truly embarrassing, involving my ex. And not to go into too much detail, but basically it was meant to bring positivity. I mean, I did find a video on YouTube, but I don't know what I expected. But anyway, the issue is that jinn, non-human spirits, just need an invitation of any kind, and I had a lot of negative energies going through me in that moment. I was not in the best headspace. I probably was dealing with some other things at home, so yeah, I shouldn't have been looking through weird YouTube stuff like that anyway and doing whatever I felt like because I was bored. Bad idea. To come into your, so they need any invitation to come into your house, whether you're trying to or not, whether you're trying to invite them in or not. Because if you didn't know, demons, vampires, black-eyed kids, all of them really are all the same, basically the same race. They're from the same species. They have subspecies. This is gonna sound crazy. So this is gonna sound a little bit crazy, but I mean, I'm crazy. This world is crazy. Come on. So if you're a fellow Muslim, believer, monotheist, whatever, then you will understand when I say that stranger things have happened. All right, so moving right along. This is, I probably do have a hadith on the screen referring to where God was talking to Muhammad about how there are essentially different species of jinn. They have their own different roles and, things like that. So they can pretend to be your grandmother when you're on the Ouija board and things like that. When you think you're talking to grandma, you're probably not, okay? Because she's somewhere in heaven or hell. You get the point. But who am I to judge? I'm just a basic believer, not a basic. So yeah, I'm a basic B. Yeah, basic believer. Okay, same thing. All right. I like to reference our. I like to refer to our close species or relatives. Yeah, silverback apes, because much like these spirits, they are born stronger than us with abilities we could never possess. Basically, me just explaining here how we can never possess the pure strength of a baby gorilla and, being able to rip another baby's head off. Sorry for the analogy, but no other human baby can do that. Yet they're just born like that. Much like jinn, they made out of smoke and fire. I may have put that up on the screen before already as well, from a hadith, from a potentially verified hadith. And I'm just mentioning this, you guys, because honestly, yeah, I don't know about you, but anything that's born strong enough to do something like that, but it still can't even read, is interesting to me. We're the ones who are more advanced. We're the ones who can read. That's why I know we have a soul, but they're over here being able to like probably pull whole trees down and can't even spell cat. So it's just really interesting to me. Yes, I'm aware of the ape that could do sign language. That's not what I'm referring to here. That's still nothing compared to what we can do. So I think jinn are similar. They can have children, they can have babies, they can reproduce and have their own interesting astral lives wherever God has placed them. Are they necessarily in hell? Not necessarily. They can be really close to us. Obviously, the stronger ones are the ones that are throwing kitchen utensils around. Moving right along. So, does that make sense to you guys? So, I'm going to skip a little ahead. I'm going to go back a little bit. So, back to what started. So, it all started when I walked into my mom's room and she stopped me and started to explain how there was a creepy shadow coming directly towards her when she woke up that night. Again, about a year ago or so. So now, that was, that, and I knew instantaneously that it was my fault from the little spell that I did, plus certain things I was doing online, plus just having a negative attitude about my relationship at that time anyway, in general, because we were just about to call it quits for the last time about a year ago, as we only just did it by, I believe, December. So earlier that year, all this was going on, and whether he's watching this like he promised not to or not, by the way, you, I hope you're okay. You kind of owe me something that you promised me. You don't have to do it, but you may have already done it by the time you watch this video, since I know you're going to watch it anyway. But yeah, hello. I hope you didn't forget about that, because it's a really good opportunity. I hope you didn't lie to me there. Okay. I was in contact with my ex. Yeah, it's a long story. Anyway, please don't even pay attention to me. I'm trying to be like professional and I don't know how to do that. So, as I was saying, okay, so my mom was talking about this jinn that came towards her. She said God's name and poof, it was gone. I mean, yeah, so whether you called God Jesus, even though we all know that's not actually God, that's someone he sent. I don't have time to explain right now. But we all know that God Almighty, we know that he is more than capable of influencing our lives. So if we so much as say his name in a dire situation, such as a demon attack, you just, you'll see it probably just disappear. Nothing in that realm can handle God's power. Like, it won't be able to bother you. So that's what I'm going to get to soon as well. So excuse me if I kind of skip past a lot of things I was talking about in the previous video. I just don't think they're relevant anymore. I know all you really want to know is how I came closer to God and what was really happening in my household leading up to that. So I decided to kind of mix it together with my jinn story because I thought it would be really interesting. I have other stories on entities and spirit encounters, but if you guys want to hear about that, please, please, please let me know. I promise I will come back to YouTube as quickly as possible to talk about that with you guys, all right? For anyone who might be interested, I don't know. Okay, so anyways, then there was my brother around the same night, or, close to it. Because I believe it was either the next night or the same night, sorry, I can't quite recall, that my mother would tell me that my brother just had sleep paralysis. This is all after I had a dream that I'm going to get to as well. Anyway, he had sleep paralysis and he saw this creepy shadow coming up the steps. I kid you not, probably the same one that she saw, coming up the steps. And when you have sleep paralysis, if you don't know, basically, and I used to get it when I was little, but I never used to see anything, you cannot move. You might try to go, it would happen for me, I would open my eyes, I would think that they were open, I'd close them and I realized I never opened them in the first place. Basically, you're temporarily paralyzed. You're temporarily paralyzed, you can't move, but you can tell that you're conscious. So you are definitely not in a sleeping state. You're not in REM sleep or theta or whatever it's called. You are fully awake and you just can't temporarily move. Your body hasn't registered with your brain yet. So yeah, he was dealing with that when he saw this vision of something coming up the steps. You guys, fair warning, I do believe it's from the spell that I did even further than a year ago. It was probably closer to 2 years ago that I did it, but these things started happening still pretty soon afterwards. But again, I'm terrible with timelines, so I'm just gonna move on. So my brother would go on to stage the house, but with me, I forgot to mention, I had a horrible dream that was almost like it was as if it was trying to turn my oldest brother against me or something crazy like that. And yeah, as you can imagine, that was terrifying. It wasn't the disgusting, depraved, just, excuse my stuttering, you guys, just kind of disgusting thing. I've never had a dream like that in my life. I've had nightmares even recently, but when I was kidnapped, held to gunpoint, dreams like that, when you know that it's a dream and it's really realistic. But I've never had a dream where it was almost as if this jinn was trying to turn my own family against me. And you already know, once I found out that it was messing with my family, I was done. I knew I had to do something. Was I praying regularly? No. I still believed in God, but I had this stupid idea that I was just gonna be a slightly better person later. I was just gonna leave my ex later. I was just gonna do all these things that would start to improve my life later, not realizing that not taking responsibility for the interesting things I was doing online, as well as just like not being honest with myself in this relationship, was probably keeping this negative energy in here. Not to mention, you guys, before I go on, every single time that I would go inside the kitchen, I would feel this presence and I would just try to ignore it and, you know what I'm saying, pretend like it wasn't there or whatever. But whatever, but it was, and I don't know why I would just ignore it. Like, so, and I can happily say now I don't feel any of that. I mean, I am prayed up after all now, but that's the beautiful message here that I'm trying to relay back to you, y'all. So I don't want this video to be half as long as last time, so I'm just gonna get through this now. So moving forward, yeah, so that was a demented dream. This all happened within around 48 hours. So that's just to give you an idea of how quickly like everything started to escalate. Now, moving forward to closer to about 6-ish months ago, more recently now, we're getting closer and closer to when I, you know, kind of reverted or whatever you can call it. We're getting closer to when I came back to Islam. My mom smells this thing. And if you look up folklore, I might put it on the screen, I don't know. But basically in like ancient folklore, a lot of folklores tell you that you can smell demons. They have a certain smell. I forgot what I was just watching where it was referring to like certain kind of like musty smells that these things give off when they're like really close to you, like close to your realm, close to, like basically in your house. They give off this rancid smell. I'm always joking about how she can smell everything, but this is in another scale and another level of being able to sense it and smell it kind of at the same time. So this is actually really serious stuff. It's kind of funny, but it's I mean, if you were to smell that, no, like I swear up and down, I swore I smelled my auntie like not even a couple weeks after she died. You know, maybe that was the closest that a human spirit can ever come to visiting us, but never have I ever smelled anything rancid like my mom would later describe. And she said that she just felt like there was some type of hellish energy. And I said, well, I might know what happened. And she was just like, what do you mean you might know what happened? Like, do you have anything to do with this, you know? And obviously I didn't want to tell her what I did and what I've also been doing on the side and just all these kinds of crazy things I was getting into. I didn't want to bring that up and, you know, take full responsibility, basically. And I still, by this point, I kind of thought it was still just a spell. Don't ask me why. Okay, so moving forward, fast forward, she said that she had a really bad feeling, and closer to around 5 months ago, you guys, talking quickly here, she was about to do her relaxer, you know, like for those of you guys who are not black or part black, you know, relaxers where you kind of loosen up your curls. Okay, but a lot of chemicals are involved. So I've been trying to get her to stop using those things, but anyways, that's besides the point. So like she was using this relaxer, and what's funny is like she swore up and down she had a weird feeling that day. She didn't want to do her relaxer that day. She didn't want to mix the chemicals together. She just was feeling a really, you know, it's kind of like a perm, you know, she knows like this simple process. She'd be doing it for years. I used to do it. But for some reason, this particular day, not that long ago, y'all, she just did not want to do it. She felt bad about it. She felt like something was in the room, in her bed. Bro, when I tell you, like, that freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, it's still here? Because like I said, my brother, he saged the house, and obviously sage, look it up. It doesn't actually get rid of anything. Look up of herbs and altars. She talks about her horrible experience with what she calls vampires, and sure enough, around that time, it was around that time that, like I said, I still wasn't really looking into Islam. I just knew that I needed to get out of what I was doing to make money on top of my crappy job. Oh my goodness. I mean, I would later quit, and now I'm in school and everything's, you know, going pretty well for me, although I do have a crazy financial story to tell you guys. It involves crypto, because I've been learning that a lot more recently. Let me know if you'd like to know what I know about it. But anyways, it's interesting. It just got crazy. I'm sure if my ex is watching this, he's like, you just said everything was going fine. What happened? It is. I still want what you told me you were gonna give me, by the way. But anyways, it's still an interesting story. You're not gonna probably believe me. I will provide screenshots just for the heck of it. Anyways, moving on, you guys. yeah, let me know if you want to know about crypto as well. I mean, it's an interesting story, this one as well. Certain things that happen. So, like I said, it's crazy. I had like this nasty, I was a little closer to like December. I think it was actually in December. Wow, I can remember dates. Yeah. After that happened, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I need to start changing my habits. Maybe I shouldn't be doing these things. Maybe I should just address the elephant in the room, like at least with myself and my ex, right? So, but before that would happen, my ex would send me this nasty email because of certain things that I was doing that he already knew about, that he was constantly looming over my head and being, like, again, very manipulative about. Like, basically, it felt like I was being blackmailed the entire time that he knew of my hobby. So, there's that. But, so yeah, around this time, he was just emailing me, talking to me through Zelle, basically yes, you heard correctly, leaving messages with money requests through Cash App. I mean, any platform you could find, including all of my Twitter accounts. I don't have that many, by the way. Anything else that I was participating in, he would message me there, and he would call me. Like, the email was by far the worst, you guys. I'm going to run through that really quickly. The email he sent me in December, it was absolutely atrocious. I don't know if anyone can relate to what I'm about to say, but if you've ever had anyone you used to really love tell you these disgusting things, and literally, like, he called me mentally ill, which, don't make fun of the disabled, just don't. Like, I mean, that's just kind of the least of what he called me. So, I mean, like, the fact that we've ever been in contact is interesting. I guess I could talk about that later. I don't know if I will. But yeah. So, anyway, around that time was when I was really stressing out, but I used it also as motivation to stop what I was doing. Go look what I really needed, which was spirituality. And also, you guys, there's another motivation of mine that made me push on over the edge and say, hey, I don't want to ruin this other situation in my life. I want to see if I can actually have a better life. I want to see if I can actually take opportunities and be a better person. And that's all I'm going to say about the other thing that was motivating me, basically. You'll never guess what it was. I'm pretty sure you can. But again, certain people are watching this. I don't want to go into detail. I'll tell you guys later. Yes, it's still working out for me. The thing that was motivating me, besides my ex being horrible and making me feel like, you know what, maybe I do need to change. Besides all of that, yeah, it's a really nice thing that ended up happening. And it kind of like stopped for a while. I was like, dang, maybe this isn't the opportunity for me. And then it came back up. So I will talk about that later. I'm sure you guys will love to hear it. It's a really cool story. Interesting. It's also something that helped me come back to Islam. I realized it about a year ago as well, you guys, but I didn't take advantage of that situation until more recently, and I'm very happy about it. And then, it's mixed in with a culmination of learning more about, crypto and other ways of making money. So anyways, you guys, moving right along. I think that's it. I just wanted to say really quickly. Yeah. So like for the past 4 months, I want to say, I've been praying, and just for these past 4 months that however long it's been since December, 4 or 5, I've been praying a lot. Obviously 5 times a day, right? And I've been messing up. Of course I've messed up, of course. But I gotta tell you, that means I've prayed at least a couple times every single day since then. And I just want to say, my life, it's only improved in ways that I literally only could have dreamed of. Now, aside from a recent very interesting, weird, unbelievable, strange, unfortunate circumstance that just happened, aside from that, because some things truly are too good to be true, aside from that, and I will give you guys an update if you care, if I ever get any more subscribers on this channel. But besides from that, y'all, I have had a really good time. My life has genuinely went only really up since then. And most importantly, I don't feel the negative energies anymore. I don't go into the kitchen feeling a heavy something near me if I'm not paying attention and just feeling uncomfortable at night. I no longer have that kind of like weight on my shoulder, if that makes any kind of sense. And like ever since then, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it's like the first time in months that I've not felt something or had well, I haven't had those disgusting dreams recently either. If you want to know what the dream is, let me know. But anyway, like I haven't had any of those kind of crazy experiences happen as of late. So I just wanted to mention that. Again, prayer works, you guys. Do not ever underestimate it. And well, I'm going to put this clip from Muji about how prayer works. And hope you guys enjoy.
God is the very source of life. He has no prejudices. Trust in God and direct your prayers to Him. Prayer works, especially when it comes from a heart that is kind and loving.
So I hope I mentioned everything that I wanted to mention in this video, you guys. I don't know that I actually did. Do you like my eye makeup? Thank you. I'm just kidding. I hope that I actually pointed out everything that I wanted to. So yeah, stay safe, kids. That's basically how I came back to Islam. I listened to the entire audiobook. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have had the paperback. But the whole entire audiobook of the Quran, Lord bless it, from a YouTube videos. The whole thing over the course of all of December when I needed it the most. Well, I needed it lots of times in my life, and I was hearing things in the Quran about I was learning things that I never would have imagined, like God would just plainly write down in a darn book through a guy who could not speak. A guy who could not write. Like Learn to Burn, look, watch my video on her. I never in a million years would have thought that all such accurate depictions of even modern day life would be in there. It's like I needed it my whole life and I didn't even know it. Because I feel like I was dishonoring God if I opened the Quran. I felt like, this sounds crazy, but I felt like it was so holy I should never even touch it. So even at my lowest point and dealing with the worst anxiety of my life at 16, I only opened it because I got the permission, I got the say so from my mom to touch it. She knew I was going through a lot mentally at that time, so that was like the only time that I was able to actually actually look into it a little bit. And they say when you open it, you always see a page that you need to see. That actually happened recently. Let me know if you want to know about that as well. It's insane. Like God literally answered my question there as well. So anyways, you guys, that's it for now. I've probably talked your ear off, hopefully a little bit more normal like a human now and less all over the place unlike the last video. So I hope that this makes you want to stick around, check out my artwork, and just subscribe to the channel and get this dowel. Let me know if you want me to talk about this recent court case that everybody's been talking about. Let me know. I might do it anyway. I know my last video didn't do too well, but anyways, without further ado, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Ramadan. And without further ado, if it rhymes, it must be true. I love you. Bye.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم